All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a brand new week. According to my calendar, this is the last day of August 2020. Man, this as much as we've not had a good time this year, I mean, we've had a good time in certain extents. It's flying by. This year's just flying by. 2020 is going to be over before you know it, and we'll be on to the American Civil War Part 2. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the Kyle Rittenhouse incident and lessons learned. We've got a SWAT Fuel Warrior of the Week. You need to listen a little bit louder. And Zach is going to tell us what's wrong or what's going on with Call of Duty Cold War. All of that and more on today's episode of Student of the Gun Radio.
Stand by for education, enlightenment, enjoyment, and entertainment.
He's not here to talk about your feelings. He's not here to say what you want to hear. He's here to say what needs to be said.
Ladies and gentlemen, and children of all ages, please welcome your host, the pimp hand of America, Professor Paul Markle.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Man, we got a lot of stuff to talk about today, and you guys are probably wondering, where is Paul going to go with this? Well, if you're wondering that, see, I'm an open book. Would you say that's true?
For the most part, yes.
I'm not really that hard to read. I'm not cryptic, and I don't hide my feelings. Would you say I hide my feelings and opinions?
No, that is something you absolutely do not do.
Yep. People will show up sometimes in our forums or our live things, and they're like, "Oh, derp, but you don't carry a gun every day," or "Derp, where's your gun, smart guy?" Like, what? What are you talking about? Oh, my favorite one is, "What have you ever done for the country?"
Nothing. Moving on.
Yeah, nothing. Moving on. So, yeah, nothing. Or this is my new favorite one, Jarrad. Apparently, the new insult online is to accuse Second Amendment supporters or gun people of being LARPers.
There's nothing wrong with LARPing.
Yeah. When I first saw that, I had to look it up. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, live action role playing.
Yeah, I didn't know what it was. So I was actually insulted, or someone attempted to insult me by calling me a LARPer, and I didn't know what that was, so I had to look it up. And it's like, okay, yep, that's me.
Yep.
That's my whole life. I just been LARPing, man. I was LARPing in the Marine Corps and LARPing in the yeah, whatever. What's hilarious to me though is that's the new insult. You guys are a bunch of
I don't understand.
Okay. Well, good. What are we going to talk about? Zach, speaking of LARPing.
That's what force on force training is. It's LARPing.
It is. It is. And what I found funny, when I was contracting about 10 years ago, when I was actively contracting with a bunch of dudes, and I contracted with tier 1 people, like Air Force, pararescue guys and combat controllers and 18 Deltas and SEALs and so forth. So if you want to know what tier 1 people are, yeah, I contracted with all those guys. We were all on the same contract together, and almost all of us played Call of Duty, whichever version it was at the time. I don't know. It might have been 2 back then. But the point is people would accuse Call of Duty players as being wannabes and so forth, and oh, you're just a bunch of wannabes. You wish you could. And I thought, you have no idea. Dudes who've actually smoked mountains of enemy combatants, like who've literally stacked bodies, not figuratively, but literally, like thrown grenades at the enemy, played Call of Duty. People are like, "Oh, you're Call of Duty players." So I was like, yeah. There are dudes on FOBs in Afghanistan who like went out and engaged in combat and would come back to the fob and we're playing Call of Duty.
Yep.
And you're like, that doesn't make any sense. Nobody who actually does it for real would play Call of Duty.
Yeah, we've got quite a few new people watching live right now, and so I do want to mention that we're going to be talking about the Kyle Rittenhouse incident in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Lessons learned later on in the show, but we've got a couple topics that we're going to hit before that. So if you're interested in the title of the show, make sure you stick around for a little while.
All right, so Zach is going to tell us. Zach discovered some type of a controversy in the new game.
Well, not in the new game because we're not that far yet.
Or about the new game?
About the new game, yes.
Tell me.
So here's
Tell me,
the
brother.
controversy, right? We all know the time frame is going to be the Cold War, right?
Yep,
And
I
all
was
the
there.
Stuff that happened, yeah, you were there, and all the stuff that happened around it. So the tagline for the game is Call of Duty Cold War: Know your history or be doomed to repeat it. That's literally the tagline of the game. Okay, that makes sense, right? So they put out a trailer. It had a bunch of old historical footage from Vietnam and Russia and so on and so forth, and China. And they had, in the trailer, they had a 2-second clip from Tiananmen Square.
2 whole seconds.
Yep, 2 whole seconds. About 12 hours later, that video was pulled, and they...
The Chinese government was offended.
Yep, and they cut the Tiananmen Square part out and re-uploaded it. So know your history, right? But
They're
not that
such
history.
Slaves.
Don't
Well, they
know
want
that
to be able
history.
to sell the game there. I mean,
They're the communists.
Don't know
They're
that
communist
history.
slaves.
Yeah.
Because communist slaves need distraction in their lives.
Yep.
So, wow.
Yep.
Wow. That is awesome. What happened at Tiananmen Square?
Nothing.
Well, yeah, nothing. What are you
Nothing.
talking about?
What-
It didn't
what
even
is that?
On
There
this-
is no Tiananmen Square.
On this date
No,
and
but-
time in China, nothing happened. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, exactly. It's what was the line from Family Guy when they were in Germany, and there's like, hey, what about in the book here? There's nothing from 1939 to 1945. We were on vacation.
I remember that.
We were on vacation.
That was Family Guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the history book is blank from 39 to 45. What happened there?
we were
Nothing.
on vacation.
We were on vacation. What happened at the Tiananmen Square? Nothing. We were on vacation. Yeah. No, China slaughtered the anti-government, the pro-democracy dissidents in Tiananmen Square. The Chinese government slaughtered them. Yes, that's what happened. For those of you that don't know, the Chinese Communist government slaughtered the pro-democracy protesters in Tiananmen Square. And we're in 1989, but we're not supposed to remember that. And the official government propaganda from communist China is that none of that ever happened. And some people went out and did some stuff, but then they left and they went away, and that's it. And we were on vacation. Yeah,
And we were on vacation.
we were on vacation. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just the
Was it the guy standing up to the tank? Was that the 2-second clip?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the most famous clip
Yeah.
in the history of the world.
But-
was a guy standing up the tank.
Yeah. But
And
just,
everyone sees that and they're like, "Oh, look at that! How bold and brave that guy was!"
And then
yeah,
he died.
And yeah, what you don't see is all the other people that were slaughtered by the army.
Yeah.
After that happened.
Yep. And it's just the freaking bold-faced like gall of them to have the tagline "Know your history," and then be cutting out history they don't want people to remember.
Oh yeah, yeah. But what I'm actually very grateful for is the fact that they are using the clip from, I want to get his name right because it's a Russian name. They're using the clip from, I think it's Yuri. He was the defector. And this is like 30, 40 years ago. But he defected from Russia. He defected from the USSR. And he did an interview and he said, look, this is the plan for the destruction of the United States. He laid it all out. Well, they used that clip. And what's funny is I shared that clip. And everyone's like, oh, yeah, Yuri Bezmenov. That was his name. Yuri Bezmenov. Yuri Bezmenov in... what year did he do it? Because this is a long time ago. Yuri Bezmenov gave an interview in 1984. He gave an interview to G. Edward Griffin, where he laid out the Russian plan for the destruction of the United States of America. And they dropped that clip into the new Call of Duty World at War trailer because it's obviously, Cold War trailer, because it's obviously very telling. But here's like the weird thing about art mimicking, life, or life mimicking art, or whatever, or this mixture. If you go and you look at that, if you listen to what he said, and on Thursday we're going to play the entire thing, and we're going to play the whole clip in its entirety, and we're going to dissect it. But if you go and listen to it, you're like, holy crap. Everything this dude said is coming true. And look at 1984. Holy crap. How many times did I say, what was Winston's job at the Ministry of Truth?
To hide the truth, or to change history.
To alter, but at that time it was like newspaper articles and television stories and stuff.
Yeah, to make sure they said what they were supposed to say.
To alter historical record, to eliminate anything that the state did not approve of. You mean like China throwing a hissy fit and us going ahead and well, not us, but what is it? Who's making the new Cold War? Who's making the new COD?
Activision
acquiescing and saying, okay, we're sorry.
Are they, where is Activision
America, I think California
based? I couldn't find it. Santa Monica,
California. Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So
at
rather
what
point, this is one of those things where it's like, at what point do companies say, okay, selling the copies of this game to that place is not worth it, because what we're trying to do is tell people that they need to know their history.
But are they just saying that to make money?
Oh, I mean, clearly based upon that decision, they're just doing it to make money, which is it's interesting.
Okay, everybody on Facebook, hold your comments.
Yeah, I know. I was looking at them. I was like, dang.
Yeah, we should.
I am going to comment based on the title.
We should probably keep going.
All right. Well, moving on. Let's go ahead and do our. We're going to move on to our Warrior of the Week. We have a good Warrior of the Week question. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, look, this is what's going on. If you guys want to know what's going on with SWAT Fuel, what's going on with SWAT Fuel is what's going on with tens of thousands of other companies in the United States. When the big media and the state decided to push the pandemic, they shut down SWAT Fuel's manufacturing plant because they said it was non-essential. So it doesn't matter what Dr. Dan wanted to do, he couldn't manufacture because it was deemed to be non-essential. You say, how is vitamins and supplements? When people are sick, how the hell are vitamins and supplements non-essential? You'd think, I don't know, this is me being crazy. You would think that during an illness, a pandemic, that the state would want people to have vitamins and supplements, especially when they're making them stay indoors and they can't go out and get sunlight and all that stuff. You're like, what can we do for the people to help them, to help their immune system, to help them stay healthy? Multivitamins, right? Like, no, that's not essential. Abortions are essential. Vitamins are non-essential. Remember that. What? Yeah, this is the really real world that we're living in, kids. You're like, it's just you can't tell me that this is just a big scare tactic. If this is not just a big scare tactic to get Trump out of office, why would you shut down a vitamin supplement manufacturer? Why would you force them to shutter their doors? Yeah.
Nobody should be being forced to shut their doors in the first place. It's like,
Yeah. Why do we
That's a
allow
whole
this
nother
state?
discussion.
Here's the deal with SWAT fuel. Everyone's pissed. It was like, God bless it. I want SWAT fuel and everything's out of stock. That's why Dan is very hard to get. And you're like, well, what about the protein powder? Well, the protein powder is super clean. It's like the cleanest whey protein. Dan literally scoured the globe, literally. And he found the cleanest, best whey protein he could find in New Zealand. Can't bring it in. They won't allow it to be imported. Because apparently the Kung Flu could be in the protein powder. Makes sense, right?
Like, doesn't that mean that the Kung Flu could be in anything that's sold in Walmart, Target?
Oh,
all
no.
of that stuff?
No. All the crap that's coming in from China, there's no Kung Flu on that. But it could be in the protein powder from New Zealand. We can't take a chance. We can't let that come into the country.
Yep. Zach, you want to play the intro video for SWAT Fuel Word of the Week? We're going to talk about bayonets.
The whole reason I said that, Jarrad, all right, the whole reason I said all that intro was because I want you guys to understand that SWAT Fuel isn't just ignoring you. They're not just they're dealing with a bad situation that was created.
Yeah, so if you want to help them, I know they have Plus P in stock, or at least they did last time I checked.
Yeah.
Go to swatfuel.com. Make sure you use the promo code. I believe it's SOTG. And save yourself some money on that. If you're a grad program member, obviously pull the code from the student lounge because you get a higher percentage off. And to be honest with you, if you order SWAT Fuel once a month, then you make more money in savings than it costs you to be a grad program member. So,
yeah. All right. So we got an interesting question, and it was phoned in this week. So the phone-in question is this. Zach is going to go ahead and play it.
Hey, Professor Paul, this is Buck from Everett, Washington. I just devoured your Patriot Fire Team Equipment Guide, and after reviewing the Patriot Fire Team manuals, I own both versions. In some cases, you recommend fixed bayonets, which is great. My question, sir, how do you attach them with the newer free float handguards with Picatinny, Keymod, or M-Lock points? Thanks for the show and being the pin hand of America.
All right, that's a fantastic question. First of all, for those of you that are not aware of the books, or you're just now hearing about the books that he has mentioned, the Patriot Fire Team manual was published about 4 years ago. It's the green one, the green and white one. I know there's a black and white one that is actually currently out of print. And if you try and find one and they want $917 for it, don't buy that. I mean, because I don't get a penny from it, so don't buy that. that is an instance of what I'll call out of print pirates, or print pirates, or book pirates.
Print pirates? Is that
print
book pirates? There
book
we go.
pirates.
That's closer.
So there are book pirates out there that find these out of print books and they grab them and they're like, you know what? If you want it, you want it. If you don't, suck it, because it's $900 and you either want it or you don't. You don't need to buy that black book, because I did the black book and then I got 10,000 questions. People said, we want more, and I want more detail, and I want more explanation. I said, okay, fine. So I wrote the manual, and the manual actually includes the original manuscript. So the manual is, you're getting 2 books for the price of 1. The most recent book, the one that Buck from Washington is talking about, is the Patriot Fire Team Equipment Guide. And it has the illustrations. It has the colored illustrations of 3 different characters on the front there, and there are illustrations within. Kevin Hammond just wrote a review of it on Amazon, and he said the way he described it, and I really appreciated the way he wrote this. He said the first one talks about how and why. The first one goes into great detail about why, or what is, why should you have a Patriot Fire Team? How can you develop one? How can you work with like-minded individuals? And then he said the The follow-up, the companion book, the equipment guide, is all about what. And that is true. It's not just about what, but in the first book, I said, hey, get this kind of stuff in general. And people said, yeah, but what if I have 4 guys and what do we all, tell me what we all need. I said, okay, here's what you all need. Just cut out the bull crap and get this. And one of the things that I mentioned in the book was the fact that at least one member of the team, preferably all, but at least one member of the team should have a rifle and a bayonet, a rifle with the ability to fix or mount a bayonet on it. Now, if you have a modern rifle, or if you even have a retro rifle, like, for instance, Brownells has their retro line of rifles. They have what was the original, the precursor to the current M16. They have an M16A1 retro style rifle. And then they even have an XM16 Echo 2, which is the one that came before that. And they have bayonet lugs on them. And you can mount an M16 style, whether it's an M7 or an M9 or the Marine Corps bayonet, which is really nice. I like the new Marine Corps bayonet. I don't have one. I'm kind of jealous of myself of others for not having one. But the Ontario Knife Corporation made a dedicated Marine Corps bayonet. The modern dedicated Marine Corps bayonet is kind of like a hybrid between a K-bar and an M9 bayonet. The M9 bayonet is actually not great. But the modern Marine Corps bayonet is pretty good. Here's the thing you need to understand about your modern rifles. Now, if you have a 16-inch barrel gun, but it has a short gas system, and it has a lug, and you look at that and you're like, oh, no big deal. It has a lug. I see it. See that right there? When you stick the bayonet on, it sits so far back. It sits so far back that you only have a couple of inches of bayonet extended beyond the muzzle brake, and that's kind of pointless. The reason that happened was because the M4, which the modern gun is based on, only has a 14-inch barrel. So no big deal, right? Well, what do we know about civilian legal guns? You're not allowed by your masters in Washington to have a 14-inch barrel because that's apparently super scary and deadly. So you have to have a 16. There are several companies, well, maybe not several, there are a handful. There are a handful of companies. If you go to your favorite internet browser and you type in bayonet lug or bayonet lug modification or bayonet whatever, and you will find that they make adapters. They make aftermarket adapters. There are some companies that make aftermarket adapters that allow you to essentially attach a lug to your barrel, right? One of the companies, and this is the one that Buck, he hipped us to. I was not aware of this company, but they've done something really super smart. The company's called apgdefense.com. And they make what they call a lug extender. And you say, a lug extender, what's that all about? Well, it fixes the problem that I just talked to you about. If you have an M&P 15, if you have a DPMS, if you have a CMMG, if you have any number of modern black rifle carbines that have a short gas system and a 16-inch barrel, what you've got is a whole bunch of barrels sticking out in front of the A-frame housing. And if you put, like I said, if you put the bayonet on there, it sits so far back that the bayonet is basically pointless. Well, with this extender, and this is really cool. I might have to just go ahead and grab one of these. You know what I should?
I'm already doing that for you.
Yeah, grab one before we do this live.
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Thank you. You're like, because
it'll be gone.
What Paul's just about to do, Paul is about to run these guys out of product. That's what Paul does. And they have another device that's called a universal bayonet mount. And this is what our friend Buck was talking about. It's a universal bayonet mount that actually attaches to your key mod handguard. Now the problem is, or M-lock, key mod or M-lock. I was going to say the problem is key mod is about as popular as jock itch right now. M-lock won. Here's the thing: the votes are in. M-lock won, but if you still have a key mod, then that's fine. It still works. So this company makes a universal bayonet mount. It says you can now mount a bayonet on a modern extended handguard like a quad rail, a key mod, or an M-lock. All you need is a Picatinny rail with at least 3 available slots. There you go. All you need is a Picatinny rail with 3 slots, and you've got a universal bayonet mount right there. So pretty cool, pretty smart. I like that. And we don't know these guys. Now here's the thing: if you call them up and they're like, "Hey, I called those guys up and they were rude to me," or they didn't answer my call, brothers and sisters, I am not in any way affiliated with APG Defense. I'm only affiliated with them because I found their website. Okay. But they're obviously smart dudes because they figured out 2 solutions. And I would almost venture to say, Jarrad, that the people behind this company, I know nothing about these people, but I'm going to say that they either were a Marine, are a Marine, or have friends that are Marines, because the bayonet that's featured is the Marine Corps bayonet. They could have featured anyone they wanted to, but the one they put in there is the Marine Corps bayonet. So I'm going to say if it was an Army dude, they probably wouldn't have done that, because Army's always jealous of the Marine Corps anyway. They are. The Army has been jealous of the Marine Corps since 1775. All right. So,
all right, we've got a couple on the way.
All right, cool. So we
will see what the experience with the company is.
Yeah,
and, if somebody from the company is watching, then let me know.
That would be really crazy.
That would be cool.
Someone from the company is actually watching. I don't really have time. How much time have we devoured already?
27 minutes.
Okay, yeah, we really don't have time. I don't have time to explain the psychology, the tactical psychology behind the bayonet. I can do that at a later date. But the fact of the matter is, there's always room for cold steel in your kit. And Zach, are there any signed copies of the Patriot Fire Team Equipment Guide left in stock, or did you sell them out?
We have a couple left. We are running low, so get yours today if you have not already ordered one. And this is worth mentioning because I don't know if we've actually said it out loud. If you would like the Patriot Fire Team Equipment Guide, but you've also been thinking about picking up the manual, you can grab them both bundled together for a discount.
Good job.
So, perfect way to kit out what's up.
Where do you do that?
On shopsotg.com.
Oh, nice.
You just go to the Patriot Fire Team Equipment Guide product, and the second variation is plus manual.
Sweet. I see that up at the top. There's this. That might not be it. Yeah, it is. Okay. It says the PFT Equipment Guide today, and you pick the Equipment Guide plus PFT manual. Sweet. I'm going to add that to my cart, and I'm going to go purchase it right now.
Smart of you.
All right. There you go. Good job.
Now about this time,
it's a whole lot of ammunition for your brain right there.
Yes, it is.
All right, Jarrad, it's time for you to say thank you to the top Student of the Gun Public Group contributors.
I'm going to make this really quick today because we're getting up there on time. So if you're watching this on Facebook Live and you're not part of the Student of the Gun Public Group, I am going to post a link to that. Actually, Zach, can you do that for me?
Sure.
Post a link to that in the little comments here, and go join that group because it's where we have, well, we don't really do it, but there's a lot of students of the gun that get in there and they have discussions every day. And then obviously we actually are parts of the Liberty Mastermind, which is the exclusive group for the grad program members. Now, this one, the top 10 contributors of the Student of the Gun Public Group. Number 10 is Andy Duncan. 9 is Kevin Flatt. 8 is Steve Pergantis. 7 is John Smith. 6 is Jeremiah Mason. 5 is Melissa Ridings. 4, Derek Babcock. 3 is Haywood Jabloni. Number 2 is Daniel Larson. Number 1 is Trent Wood.
Daniel knocked Haywood off.
Yep. Yeah, he did. That's good. And he did it. He didn't do it with posts. He did it with comments. So posting and commenting, it helps.
And engaged. If you are an engaged individual, that's
Daniel. If you can knock Trent Wood out of #1 by next week, then we'll send you something special. It's going to take a lot of effort, but you can do that.
I have a picture hanging nail. I can send you that. Let's try here. All right, let's go ahead and thank our friends at Duracoat. Why? Because life is too short to
have an ugly gun.
You don't want to do it. Don't have an ugly gun. I don't want to have an ugly gun. You don't want to have an ugly gun. Let's not have ugly guns together. You know what? Oh, with this, I might have missed the boat here, but the boat's still floating. Gun tattoos, right? We got all these different kinds of gun tattoos. What don't we have? What don't we have via with our friends at Duracoat?
Something.
PFT symbology.
Oh yeah, we should do that on the gun tattoo.
Yeah, I've got symbology all up the yin yang over here. People are like, no, it's symbolism. Shut your mouth. If you don't get that. Yeah, my guitars have the symbology on them. I have Duracoated projects, and I put the PFT symbols on the projects. If you don't know what the PFT symbols are, I actually explain them, and I use the term symbology in the book. And I'm waiting for people to, I enjoyed the book. However, when I got to the end, the author used the word symbology, and I believe the word he was looking for was symbolism.
No.
So Duracoat, if you want to put symbology on your gun, whatever kind of symbology you'd like to use, you can go to Duracoat Firearm Finishes. Check them out. They've got a brand new website. They've just recently upgraded it. And they're good people. Check those guys out. And of course, they have the Fighting Solves Everything. They have the Student of the Gun tattoos. They have slightly darker black, World War II olive drab green, all kinds of good stuff. Crossbreed Holsters, they want you to be dangerous on demand. How can you be dangerous on demand?
Get the most comfortable inside the waistband holster you will ever carry. Get that, and then you'll actually carry your gun, and that makes you dangerous on demand.
Actually carry your gun.
Carrying a gun plus training, that makes you dangerous on demand.
Well, if you took training, you own a gun, and your gun lives in a safe because that's just the right thing to do. You
more training.
Yeah, you need more training. And what Jeff Cooper said in his book is, you have missed the point of the exercise.
The way to gain more confidence is to get training and actually do things with whatever your carry gun is. Yeah. Is take a class that makes you do things that are uncomfortable. You do the uncomfortable things in class, then you know that you can do them, and that'll give you the confidence that you need to actually carry a gun.
It's kind of like engaging in voluntary hardship.
Yes.
Oh, there you go. But now hang on. Before you go to Crossbreed Holsters and check out, stop. Use the promotional code SOTG18, and you're going to save money, and you'll be a happy keeper. All right. Brownells. Brownells are good friends. We talked last week about their the Gen 2, the BRN 180, which is essentially their version, their faithful reproduction of the AR 180. And they have a Gen 2 version now, both in pistol length and rifle length. If you'd like to check those guys out, it's super simple. Go to brownells.com. You can actually order the BRN 180 that I just talked about. You can do that by going there. And sign up for their newsletter so that you don't forget a thing.
Attention, new listeners. We produced a complimentary online training course called 7 Training Tips That Could Save Your Life. Get instant access by joining the Student Lounge for free at studentofthegun.com. Do you watch Student of the Gun TV, read the blog, and follow us on Facebook? If you answered no to any of these questions, you are wrong, but you can easily fix yourself. Go to studentofthegun.com to find everything SOTG.
All right. Oh.
I wish I could do a thumbs up of this thing that you just wrote in the notes.
Yep.
because that's kind of what I was thinking. Is like, there's so much that could be learned here. Everyone's focusing on these stupid little details.
On the minutia. Yes. All right. So here's what we're going to do today. I'm going to give you the 30 plus years of paying attention to the world and tactics and all of that good stuff.
I would say if you guys want Professor Paul's rap sheet, it's on the interwebs. He's been carrying a gun his entire adult life. He's been teaching people for a long time. And so his opinion is coming from no crap experience in the world of something martial.
I'm on my fourth decade.
Yeah.
Going on my fourth decade of paying attention and being engaged in the martial pursuits. I was actually, I started my career before I could actually buy a handgun. I couldn't even go buy a handgun because I was 19 when I started. So, all right, let's talk about Kenosha or Wisconsin or the Kyle Rittenhouse incident, whatever you want to call it. Everybody in America knows who Kyle Rittenhouse is now. Kyle Rittenhouse is a 17-year-old kid who traveled from Illinois. If you don't know where Kenosha is, let me give you a quick geography lesson. Kenosha, Wisconsin is on the Lake Michigan border, the Lake Michigan side of Wisconsin. It is directly north of Chicago. So you leave Chicago and you go straight north, cross the border, and it is near Milwaukee. There's this massive corridor along Lake Michigan where you go Chicago, suburbs of Chicago, and then you hit the Wisconsin border, and then you get basically suburbs, and then you end up in Milwaukee. Milwaukee it's famous for beer, but Milwaukee is also kind of what did we learn from the sheriff up there? Milwaukee is not necessarily a wholesome American city. It's not the wholesome American city that Laverne and Shirley portrayed it to be. Unfortunately, being a major metropolitan area, there's a lot of crime that goes on up there. And there's also a lot of socialism and communism that goes on in Milwaukee. So when you have communism and socialism, when you put Democrats in charge of any major metropolitan area, what you end up with is a cesspool of crime and corruption. Well, Kenosha is south of Milwaukee, north of Chicago.
Yeah,
all right.
It's the first, from what I can tell, I've never been there, but it
First
looks like the
big city.
first decent sized area once you cross the border.
Yeah. Fortunately, it's way far away from Chippewa Falls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Our friends in Chippewa Falls.
There.
Fine. And Wisconsin is other than Madison and Milwaukee, Wisconsin is a very conservative, rational, down home state. But you have Milwaukee and Madison.
You just
Madison
described most of the states with big cities in them.
Yeah.
Except for these two areas.
Yeah. Yeah. And that should be a lesson to us anyway. It's like, so what are we going to talk about today? Everyone is focusing on the minutia. They're focusing on this kid's age. They're focusing on the fact that he was transported across state borders with a firearm, and everyone's like, "Oh, is that legal? Are they allowed? Is that a felony? He transported a gun across a state border, and blah, blah, blah. Or a 17-year-old cannot possess or own a rifle or whatever." It's like, first of all, then that's not true at all. All of my kids had guns before they were 18, didn't you?
Yeah, I had that. At the very least, I had that freaking bolt action 22.
They were all gifted. My children were all gifted rifles for Christmas. Generally, it was Christmas. It was all Christmas gifts, right? Yeah,
probably. Yeah.
Before they were 18, so they all had. I had a gun before I was 18. I had a 20 gauge shotgun before I was 18. I was 15 or 16 when I got it. Lots of American children, lots of American kids have rifles. So this whole, that's a felony. And people are like, it's against the law to own a gun unless you're 21.
It's actually not true.
That's not true at all. And someone said it was an illegal firearm. And I really hate that term. You know what that term is? That's a slave term. Yeah. If you want to know if someone's brain has been co-opted by the state, they use terms like illegal firearm. Who says that? Slaves. Mental slaves. If you say the word illegal firearm, they got you.
So we've got people that are focusing on the minutia like that stuff, but what should they be focusing on?
All right. Thank you, Jarrad, for bringing me back on track. All right. So stop talking about things like the kid's age and so forth. Here's the number one, or I would say this, it could be one or two. We've seen a lot of these viral harassment videos lately, right? And this incident was just one of many. We had the gas station video in Kenosha where the 60-some-year-old man is trying to get gasoline, and these radical dickbags are blocking him, right? And then they're kicking his truck and so forth. Who was not there? The police.
Yep.
Right? St. Louis, the protesters decided on their way to protest, decided to smash down the gate of a very expensive house and enter to harass the people who live there. So you've got 100 protesters, 2 homeowners, and no police. DC this last week, people are, these Antifa BLM supporters, going into restaurants screaming at people sitting at a table. People sitting at a table trying to eat dinner, have coffee, whatever. And these people are surrounding them and screaming at them, demanding that they raise their hands in solidarity with Black Lives Matter. And I could go on, but what's missing in every single one of these viral harassment videos? Not one single police officer.
You got no popo.
So, and you're telling me, you're like, oh, it just happened in spur of the moment. It happened in seconds. No, it didn't. In Kenosha, the police didn't show up until after. In St. Louis, the police showed up afterwards to take away the guns of the homeowners. What is the lesson there, ladies and gentlemen? What have we been saying for a long time?
It's actually been a court ruling as well.
Yeah, there's been several.
Yeah.
But if your plan is call 911 and then police will magically show up and fix the problem, that's a fantasy land. But what is worse and what's more insidious, see, what we've been talking about previously about the police is that you can't just expect the police to magically show up because you hit 911 on your mobile phone. You have to have a plan in place to take care of yourself until they get there. And that's kind of the song we've been singing for a long time, is have a plan in place to deal with the problem until the police get there. But, and this is a big but here.
We like big butts.
And I'm going to tell you why. The big but is, what if it doesn't matter? What if you call 911 and they're still not coming? What if the mayor of the city has commanded the police chief to command his troops to stay 4 blocks away from the protest?
And this is something that's been running through my head for a little while, because we've got the Democratic ran cities, or they're essentially like forcing themselves into revealing their lies, because they say, well, you don't need guns because the police are here. We have the police. But at the same time, now they're saying, well, the police, we need to get rid of the police, and the police are just too brutal. And so they can't be doing their jobs. But then they're like, well, but you still don't need guns. It's like, well, then what's the actual truth here, guys?
Well, there is no actual, it's a lie. Liberalism generates the exact opposite of its stated intent. Always remember that. So the main focus of this situation is, why Why was a 17-year-old out doing and he was, now, the way he's being portrayed in the media is this kid was just walking around randomly through the neighborhood looking to pick a fight. That isn't the case at all. He went there and he was part of a group of people who were trying to protect Kenosha businesses from being vandalized and looted and burned. I mean, if you want to see the destruction, go ahead and Google it or duck it or do whatever you want. Part of the problem, from a tactical standpoint, you guys want to talk about tactics. Let's talk about tactics. The main error that this kid made was allowing himself to be separated from his group, separated from his team. He was separated from his team, and the thugs saw him as an easy target, and they attacked him. But the thugs, and this is what I've been telling you, Jarrad. How long have I been saying that the modern American thuggery have become emboldened, super emboldened? How many people, Jarrad, have we heard from who said, well, I don't ever want to have to shoot anybody, but if they see I have a gun, they'll run away?
Not all the time. If you've watched the Armed Living DVD that we produced, and if you don't have it, go to armedlivingdvd.com. But in there, we talk about the 3 types of criminals, and there's type 1, type 2, type 3. I won't get into it because it's all in the DVD, but I just wanted to hit that real quick, is there's different types of criminals, and they're not all going to act the same.
And you're not going to know.
Yeah.
That's the thing is you won't know.
Until you actually need to defend yourself, you're not going to know.
Yeah, until the flag goes up, until the balloon goes up, you won't know. And what we had here were actually multiple type 3s who saw an adult. I mean, he's 17, but he's a grown kid. He's a full-size guy with a rifle. And rather than thinking, hey, we should stay away from that guy, get away from that guy, they've become so emboldened that they attacked a guy carrying a rifle. A guy's carrying a rifle, and they deliberately attacked him. What does that tell you? That should tell you the enemy that you're dealing with. The enemy that we are dealing with is so bold and has been convinced that they can do anything they want to anyone they want, and there will be no repercussions. Forget about all this minutia that he was 17 and he carried, was from Illinois. The lesson here, you need to understand your enemy. All of you guys out there, all of you, I'll just rack the shotgun and they'll void their bladder and run away. No. What we've done is we've essentially created a hybrid thug population in America. Because through our weakness, we have told them, hey, look, you can do anything you want. You can literally protest by burning a city down, stealing everything you want, burning everything you want, destroying property, pull people out of their cars, attack them, beat them on the streets. You can do anything you want because the media will make an excuse for you. And what are we seeing in these big cities? We've got Democrat attorney generals who are dismissing charges against these thugs. We have taught them that there are no consequences for their actions.
Have you seen, and I really thought this was a joke. I really did, but apparently it wasn't. The fiery but mostly peaceful protests.
That was really real.
I really thought that was a joke. Yeah, he's standing in front of like a burned down building and smashed out cars. It's like, yeah, it's mostly peaceful.
Yeah. We are literally living in a time when the media, because they're on their side, those are Democrat voters. All right. That's the Democrat voter base that's out there burning the cities down. Don't tell me it's not. If you're telling me it's not, you're disingenuous and you're a liar. So we have a mainstream media that will make any excuse for violence and thuggery and criminal mobs. I mean, they're calling these people protesters. They're not. They're criminal mobs. So another lesson there is you have an enemy right now that is so emboldened that they will charge straight into the barrel of a gun because they believe in their sick and twisted brains that because they express outrage, can do anything they want. They can beat you to death on the street because they're outraged. And you better understand that. Now, what they learned was that all the old Vietnam era veterans, or the people who didn't actually go to Vietnam but think they were there, 5.56 actually works. A lot of people have said, I'll never own the AR because it's a varmint cartridge. It's a squirrel gun. I had a guy took me to task for recommending an AR because it was a squirrel gun.
Maybe with a 22 conversion kit.
Look at that dude's arm. Does that look like what a squirrel gun would do?
Wow. Okay, real quick. So someone just asked if there's a video of the attack. Get F more.
Yeah, it looks like
everywhere.
Just let me.
I would say it looks like Gabe was keeping away from media.
Yeah.
Which is probably the best thing to do right now.
But
It's
like,
what the heck, man?
But what I was getting at is we were like, oh, whatever you said at the beginning, like, they deliberately attacked him. He was retreating and they were chasing him down. Like, it wasn't like, they got chest to chest and then things got bad. Like, they were literally running after him to try and take him out.
Oh, yeah.
I'll post this video in the comments so everyone can watch it.
They were this kid is not going. I don't give a shit what. I'm sorry, mark it down. I don't care what the prosecutor is trying to do. This kid is not going to get convicted of first-degree murder. He was attempting to escape. He was confronted by multiple attackers. He didn't press the trigger until he was knocked to the ground and received several injuries. This kid is not going to get convicted of first-degree murder. I don't give a crap what the left wants to do. And if they do, then we need to do other things. And now I'm going to go this is the last thing I'm going to say. And I want you to just digest this. I'm not even going to answer this. I'm going to ask you this question, and then you can digest it. We have out of control thuggery. We have out of control mass criminal behavior in our country. Why is a 17-year-old out there trying to do the job that adults, fully grown adult humans, should be doing? Why is a 17-year-old taking up the mantle when there are all these pro 2A citizens who are not? And I'm gonna leave it. You're like, oh, nope, digest it.
Dude, it's not even about 2A anymore.
No, it's about
like literally protecting our cities.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, why weren't there 10,000 of this guy out there? Are you telling me there's not 10,000 people in Kenosha, Wisconsin? I guarantee you there's at least 10,000 people in Kenosha, Wisconsin. So before you focus on all the, a 17-year-old's not allowed, or why did his mom let him go out there, or whatever, you need to ask yourself, why was this kid out there alone when there's all these flag-waving, chest-thumping, proud 2A blah, blah, blahs? You got your Gadsden flag hanging in your garage, but there's a 17-year-old kid out there confronting this communist mob.
Also, the absolute balls on these people to be like, oh, what he was doing was illegal. We say, well, we are trying to abolish the police, attacking people, burning things down, looting.
Yeah, we're on our way
but
to
he was breaking the law, and he needs to be punished.
To torch a car lot. Yeah.
The absolute
We're all
balls.
carrying Molotov cocktails. Oh, and the guy with the arm, oops, he's a convicted felon in possession of a gun.
But he's the victim here.
And the two dead dudes were actually convicted felons too.
Shocking.
Or they're convicted criminals. I don't know if they're convicted felonies. One guy was a convicted of like gross sexual impropriety with a minor, and then the other dude was convicted of domestic violence for choking his girlfriend or something like that. These were not choir boys. This wasn't Martin Luther King out locking arms with a bunch of Southern Baptist ministers walking down the street. These are thugs. They're criminals. Yeah. So go ahead and digest that, kids. Now we're going to be back on Wednesday. And Wednesday, we got some really good news from the state of Idaho. With all the crap that's been going on in the world, you may have not seen this. You might have missed it, but it's
I need to add
news.
one thing to the lessons learned. And
All right.
This isn't learned from the Kenosha incident. It's a compilation of different incidences. People were talking about, yeah, but the violent portion of this isn't actually representative of the goal of this BLM thing. And well, what we've seen is we've seen leaders that are representatives of the BLM, and there was one chick that said that the looting and the rioting was reparations for whatever, right? And then we have not yet seen any representatives from the BLM talk about the violence and the looting and essentially separate themselves from that.
Condemn it?
Yeah, there's been no condemnation of the looting or anything. And so my question is that if you're a representative of the peaceful portion of this BLM thing, then why is the violence and the looting and the burning of the cities not being condemned by your organization? And also, why is the donated money that's on blacklivesmatter.com, why is that going directly to Democratic candidates? Just questions that I have.
Yeah, just questions to ask. So, and if you guys are like, hey, you're gonna get into Yuri's thing on Thursday, how can I be a part of that? Go to Get SOTG, sign up, and get the free book and be a member. And
grad program membership. Go to getsotg.com. Now, if you, for whatever reason, if you don't want to do that, I don't know why you wouldn't want to go to getsotg.com and sign up and get the book and everything. At least do me a favor and mention this podcast to your friends, because this is something that needs to be, like, these are actual issues that need to be discussed instead of focusing on the minutia of this thing. And you can subscribe. If you're not subscribed to the podcast, you can subscribe for free on your favorite podcast player, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Stitcher, etc. And it's easy to share this stuff on IG and Facebook stories. So do that for us, please.
All right, kids, remember, you're a beginner once.
You're a student for life.
We appreciate your reviews. If you haven't left a review or updated yours recently, head on over to Facebook, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast player to voice your opinion. Don't forget to join us at the Student Lounge, a place for like-minded individuals to learn, connect, and support each other. No chicanery will be tolerated. Remember to check studentofthegun.com daily for new, free content and giveaways. Watch, listen, read, shop, and connect at studentofthegun.com. Are you a social butterfly? Connect with us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for new content each and every day at Student of the Gun. Watch Student of the Gun TV and videos from our trusted partners on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Chromecast, and even AirPlay. Go to studentofthegun.com for direct links, and remember, you're a beginner once, a student for life.